This is probably the biggest headline so far of the NBA offseason, and that is, where the hell is Damian Lillard going to end up? 99% of the population is probably saying Miami, and Damian Lillard's agent completely agrees with that because reportedly his agent came out and said that he's basically trying to say, hey, any other team that wants Damian Lillard, it ain't going to happen, so only Miami give us the best deal, and that's the one we're going to take. And actually, this was his quote a couple days ago, where this is what he said. He goes, I do what I should for my clients. Some teams have called me. It's a respectful relationship with most teams. Truthfully, he wants to play in Miami, period. So there's really no other option in Aaron Goodwin's mind that Damian Lillard will go to any other team besides Miami. And we later in the show, we're going to talk about, potentially some other teams. But should teams be discouraged to even attempt to go for Damian Lillard after his agents come out and saying there ain't a single possibility that Damian Lillard's going to go to your team if you're not the Heat?
He doesn't have a no-trade clause.
Correct, he does not.
So they could trade him. He could be angry on the other team. Or maybe the other team would get him and then trade him again. Or maybe there's going to be some sort of three-team trade setup, because I don't think that the Blazers want Tyler Hero is the number one player in that package. I think the Heat's package is probably Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and a couple first-round picks. That's probably not going to get it done because their first-round picks are going to be low. What they need is a third team that would offer up a first-round pick and another player, and then who wants Tyler Hero? I think that's the way it's going to go down.
So
plus Damian Lillard's got $216 million in 4 years left on his contract.
He's got a 4-year deal left.
Yeah. I mean, that per year, given the superstar salaries, is probably not that bad, right? But it's still a lot of money, and it's going to be tough for Miami to figure that out, I think.
Right.
I mean, Lowry has an expiring contract.
He's also old as well.
He's old, but he's expiring contract, so maybe the Blazers would take him as part of the deal too. I think it's going to take 3 teams to get it done.
Okay, that's interesting. What I find the most fascinating is that Tyler Hero is probably the Heat's best asset besides Bam and Jimmy Butler, who they definitely don't want to get off of. So Tyler Hero is your best trading asset, and the Blazers don't even want him. Excuse me, reportedly. Yeah, they don't even want him.
I mean, he's the Miami's best trading asset, but if they want to hang on to Jimmy Butler and Bam, but
which I think they're going to
do. And Tara's a marquee player. I don't view him that way.
Well, he was a 6th man of the year. I mean, think about it. He averages 20 points off the bench, which is incredible for especially a very, very young player. So my concern for the Heat is, if your best offer is, let's just say right now, is Caleb Martin, Duncan Robinson, maybe Nikola Jovic, and 2-3 first-round picks, I guarantee you a team like Los Angeles, the Clippers, maybe even the Celtics, the Spurs, maybe, I'm not 100% sure, the Pelicans potentially, depending on if you're willing to give up either Brandon Ingram or Zion Williamson, have them within the deal, or even give up maybe CJ McCollum and have a weird trade like that, because CJ went over to New Orleans from the Blazers. So it could be interesting like that, where you may not even have the best offer, yet reportedly, according to Damian Lillard's agent, that's the only team he wants to go to. So if the Blazers don't even want the Heat's best trading asset in Tyler Hero, who I think is a very good player, especially coming off the bench, he averages 20 points a game, so then what the hell are you going to trade compared to other teams who have more valuable assets than you do?
It's got to be a 3-team deal, and with a team that wants Tyler Hero.
That's going to be an interesting question.
That's what's going to have to happen.
So it could be, if you have a 3-team trade, it'll most likely be the other team giving away a big asset, and then getting maybe them getting Tyler Hero and Jovic and maybe other
maybe one of the Heat's first round picks.
It could have been one or two of the Heat's first round picks. It may need to be a 3-team trade. You may need to incorporate that, but I really cannot see a scenario where both teams can win if the Blazers truthfully will not take Tyler Hero in a trade. The Heat are not going to be able to win a 1-on-1 team trade, a 2-team trade, when you have teams like the Clippers, even the Lakers, really, they have better assets than the Heat do. The Clippers, the Timberwolves maybe even have better assets. The Spurs potentially. I think the Pelicans have better assets because you still have Zion and Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum if you want to get off of one of them. The Heat right now, they got nobody. They got bench players and they got role players as a large part of their unit. I mean, the fact that they went that far with the group that they had this past season with Gabe Vincent, with Caleb Martin, without Tyler Hero throughout the playoffs.
It's pretty amazing.
It's incredible. And that's why I think that's probably what entices Damian Lillard the most to come to Miami.
To go with the program there. They have Pat Riley in the front office, and they have Eric Spoelstra on as the coach.
Right, and so the fact that this unit got to the finals and they got decimated, they got dismantled by the Nuggets, but the fact that they got there with this lineup, for me as Damian Lillard, that would be fascinating as well because they took down the Celtics, embarrassed them for 4 games. They went against what I think the Knicks could be a very, very good team next year if they get one simple asset, which we may be talking about a little bit later. If they get another great piece, the Knicks could be in the Eastern Conference Finals next year. I personally think so, depending on who you're moving. They took down the Bucks. This team was surprised. They start off terrible. They looked horrible in their playing game. And so I wrote them off after the playing game.
Me too. I didn't think
they got out-rebounded. They were slow. They looked like an incredibly old team. It was terrible. And this team got this far. And so that's why Dame is probably very interested in this team. But I think for the Blazers' perspective, that Damian Lillard, this makes 100% sense for him to go to the Heat. I think it just works culture-wise. He wants to be a part of that winning culture.
He's going to be there. They'll find a way to get it done. The GM, the head coach are going to be all in on the players as they have been for a while. I mean, think about it. They have a bunch of undrafted guys that played large amount of minutes and had a huge impact on each game that they played. So that's why, at least for Dame's perspective, this would be a perfect choice. For the Blazers' perspective, if you're not willing to take the best asset the Heat have, you have to look at they would overpay. They would have to give maybe 4 or 5 first-round picks if they don't want Hero and include maybe Jovic or Caleb Martin or Duncan or any one of those players besides Hero. Or the Blazers have the right to look at other teams' offers and say, okay, you want to go to the Heat. However, you signed an extension with us. You did not sign a no-trade clause. We didn't give you a no-trade clause that you signed off on. So we, as the Blazers, can trade to any team that we want to trade you to. And guess what? As soon as we trade you, ain't our problem anymore if you're angry or upset about it. That's only your problem. I don't know why he wouldn't want to go to the Celtics. Why wouldn't he want to go there? I mean, I don't think they can get it done because they have to pay Jaylen Brown and Tatum. But why wouldn't he want to go there? What do you think the reason is? I don't get it. I mean, the Celtics have a better package to give back to the Blazers.
100%.
Right?
I think the Clippers do as well. I think the Clippers have a lot of assets because I think primarily what the Blazers want to do that they haven't had for a long time is get an efficient big man. Damian Lillard has been crushing it in the guard role. They haven't had a forward or a center that has been dominant and really in a long, long time. So my guess would be the Celtics could give them like a Robert Williams and they would be intrigued by that offer.
Robert Williams, Brogdon, and Pritchard.
And I would also add maybe 2 or 3 first-round picks along with it.
Two first-round picks, or maybe even 3.
And I think that would be more enticing than saying, oh, yeah, let's go with another guard or maybe 2 guards and a bunch of first-round picks, and there's our offer.
I mean, the Blazers
already did that.
The Blazers just drafted what they think is going to be their point guard going forward,
They drafted Dame's replacement.
Yeah, so why don't they just be in rebuild mode? Why don't they just go for get back stockpile of picks? You know?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So my bet would be, I understand. Damian Lillard has stayed very, very loyal to the Blazers for 11 years, played his heart out. When CJ McCollum left, when LaMarcus Aldridge left, when the team was in shambles, and it was really only Damian Lillard for the past few years, he stayed and said that he was extremely loyal to Portland. That is phenomenal. But, and then here's another thing. He's being partially a hypocrite because he was talking about how bad the ring chasing culture is in the NBA, and that's not the way he wants the NBA to become. And yet he's joining that culture by saying, "I want to go to the team that just was the best team in the East, that made the NBA Finals, that was close to winning."
He's smartened up.
So, that's the thing. If he was really unhappy, he shouldn't have signed the extension. Or at least he should have been given the right to. He should have fought for the right to have a no-trade clause.
Yeah, well, he got the extension was worth a ton of money.
The extension was worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But right now, I truthfully think the Blazers could do whatever they want. Damian Lillard could be upset. He doesn't necessarily... Here's the thing. Yeah. They could trade him to any team he wants. And Damian Lillard could be upset about it. The Blazers couldn't care.
Yeah, but the other team might care.
The other team might care, but then again, the Blazers would be like, "Oh, we traded for it. It's your problem now."
Or if the other team thinks they they could get him and then trade him again to somebody else.
That could
But
also be an
I
option.
don't think that's the way it would work. I think it would be part of a 3-team deal.
I think that's the only way you're going to get it done.
I think it's the only way you're going to get it done.
The major player that the Blazers would receive would be from that third team, not from the Heat.
Yeah.
Because, once again, the Heat are trying to give up their best asset that isn't Jimmy Butler or Bam.
So
and the Blazers are like, we don't want him.
Where would Tyler Hero go where the other team would give up a big piece?
Here's the thing. I do not see a team like the Celtics or Clippers who are still, reportedly, wanting to be involved. The Celtics, Jason Tatum wants him to come there, but the Celtics, there's a guy from the Boston Globe that's saying the Celtics are out of it. But like these big teams that have been intrigued by Damian Lillard, I don't see them being a part of a 3-team trade where they don't get Damian Lillard. So my guess would be maybe from the Timberwolves or the Spurs who can get picks or who can get something good out of maybe a team looking for a point guard like Tyler Hero. Like for instance, I'm just completely spitballing this. I just thought of it off the top of my head. So what we saw from the Denver Nuggets was they lost a bunch of bench players, crucial bench players like Bruce Brown, who's a pretty good forward. If you add a 6-man like Tyler Hero into that lineup, I would be very, very, I would make them a 75% chance to go back-to-back. Because if Tyler Hero is giving you 20 off the bench, and your bench was already efficient enough to go through the West, and going up against a really good bench team like the Heat, because you saw it throughout the playoffs.
Okay, who's Denver going to give to the Blazers?
That's the big thing. Who would Denver give?
They don't have anybody.
Maybe you can give up maybe an Aaron Gordon who's good defensively. I'm just spitballing. I'm saying a team that needs a guard. That would be a team that would be involved in a 3-team trade. I don't see a top tier team who's looking to get Dame be involved in a 3-team trade then when they don't receive Dame.
I think the Blazers ought to go full rebuild and go for maximum number of trade picks.
Well, then that would
because their new point guard's going to take him a couple of years to get to a point where he can really do something, right?
Especially with that lineup, Scoot Henderson's it's going to be a little while before he's a full blown NBA star, which I fully expect him to be. Because I think besides Wembanyama, I think he's probably the second best prospect going into next season. So my guess would be the Heat would need to give up, if they don't want Tyler Hero, you would have to give up either Caleb Martin and or Duncan Robinson. And then the Blazers could probably say, okay, we'll take 4 or 5 first-round picks. Because I think it is smart to go through that. And then with the 4 or 5 first-round picks, you could do what maybe the Celtics are doing, but you have a better chance of getting this done, where you're going out and get top-tier players and not go through the draft. Use that as sort of artillery to say, okay, we have all these first-round picks. What would you give us? NBA, what would you give us for it? So I think that could be a good thing. And I do think the only way this is going to get done, where the Blazers could be very intrigued in getting it done and giving up Dame.
Yeah, it's a third team.
It would have to be through a third team.
I just don't know who the third team is. That's something.
Someone looking for a guard. That's the big thing, because the Blazers aren't looking for a guard, and that's why they don't want Tyler Hero. So we'll see. I would be very, very surprised if the Blazers just go, okay, we'll take Jovic, Caleb Martin, and 3 first-round picks.
I don't know why Lillard wouldn't consider the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers could trade Paul George to the Blazers.
Paul George's value is very, very high, and I think I want to see if I can bring it up very, very quickly. I saw something earlier today. It was either Damian Lillard's value or Paul George's trade value. I'll hopefully bring it up quickly. Here we go. Blazers are reportedly asking for 4 first-round picks and 2 quality players for Damian Lillard. That is supposedly what's being reported about the trade. So 4 first-round picks and 2 quality players to go get Dame. That's where I think the Heat are going to be like, we may not step up to the competition depending on who steps in the ring. If teams are discouraged by Aaron Goodwin saying, don't you dare try to trade for him because you ain't getting him, maybe that could be where the Heat are like, we're the last team available. Hi. So here you go. This is the best offer. So I think it's interesting, but I do agree with you. I think a third team is required to get this trade.
I think they'll find a way to figure it out.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.